Stugotz here for 1-800-Flowers. Being a mom is like 1,000 little jobs all wrapped into one amazing responsibility. I know this from watching my own wife, how crazy it is, switching back and forth from trauma nurse to afternoon mathematician, from organizer-in-chief to five-star chef. This Mother's Day, show her how much you appreciate every job she does with this special limited-time offer from 1-800-Flowers.com. Right now, when you get ahead of the Mother's Day rush, 1-800-Flowers will give you an exclusive 36 for 36 offer, 36 sorbet roses for just $36. That's only $1 per rose. With an impressive mix of pastel shades in pink, orange, and lavender, these roses are guaranteed to make her smile. Stunning sorbet roses are the perfect way to surprise all the moms in your life. Wife, aunt, sister, mother. These breathtaking roses from 1-800-Flowers are picked at their peak and shipped overnight to ensure freshness. 36 sorbet roses for only $36 is an amazing offer, but you need to hurry because it expires Friday. Just pick your delivery date and 1-800-Flowers will handle the rest. Don't put this off, guys. I'm telling you, order today from 1-800-Flowers.com. It's what mom would want you to do. To order 36 sorbet roses for only $36, simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan. Hurry. Offer ends on Friday.
This is the best of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We got fire up in here today. First, we've got a reenactment of Bryant Gumbel versus Derek Jeter, HBO Real Sports. We'll do that in a second. Stugotz says he has every Twitter page up. NFL draft.
Yes.
Stuff going on. We need to get Mina Kimes around here to challenge for the throne of Mel Kiper and Todd McShay.
I have 5 Twitter windows open right now. Schefter, McShay, Kiper, all the people that you want, like all the people who have the information this week. I am following you right now, and only you. That is it.
That's it. Mike Ryan is reported during the break that Sam Darnold is a future weight problem. Put it on the poll, please, Guillermo. Is Sam Darnold one off season away from a weight problem? Where he, too, like Ben Roethlisberger, will look bloated and run like a tall building would. Am I wrong?
No, I just never thought of it like that.
It's just his legs.
Yes.
There's nothing else moving.
Yes. No.
When Ben Roethlisberger scrambles out of the pocket, it has no scramble to it. It's just a skyscraper moving.
It's perfect.
Trying to move quickly.
Yeah.
It's also like he's just way too erect.
He's like one of those sausage races.
What?
He looks like one of the sausage race people.
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to any of this, though, and Mike Ryan and I failed blatantly during the local hour of our show that precedes this one, all of our heat analysis failed to remember that Chris Bosh was supposed to be playing for this team somewhere in this.
Oh, yeah.
And any blueprint construction that you make.
He would have made a difference.
Yeah, and we kind of forgot that in our analysis, so let's move on.
All right.
Speaking of Bryant Gumbel. Oh, I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, man. Here, you want them?
Yeah.
Here, you want to try that again?
Right. Yes.
Where do you want to pick it up from? You want to do the whole exchange with Mike?
Yeah, can we start? Where do we start over?
The Chris Bosh blueprint.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Man, he would have been fun to have this series.
Not a good thing to forget. Oh, no, I blew it. Let's try it again.
Okay.
All right. Is there a fine here somewhere?
3,
No.
2, 1.
God, I wish we had Bosh this series.
How could we forget that? Bosh, he's important to the blueprint. We really blew that one. Let's move on.
Smooth.
Gumbel's better at that.
Yeah.
Stugotz was.
He also doesn't have a hat with a Muppet on it to impede the glasses from coming off.
Well,
smoothly.
the glasses are foggy. There's a headset. It wasn't quite as television smooth as Bryant Gumbel.
You also need to kind of put the leg in your mouth after you take it out and go like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Chew on it. Yeah, a little bit.
Let's move on.
Ooh, better.
Better.
No, I'm not going to lie to you. That was worse.
That was worse. That was erotic. Anyway, before we get to the reenactment of Derek Jeter versus Bryant Gumbel on HBO Real Sports, Stugotz is on Twitter here. I've seen him. I'm watching him as all of his Twitter windows are open because he wants draft information. I'm also watching him, And look at what he's typing. He's typing replies to people on Twitter while we're doing the show instead of doing the show. Who are you feuding with on Twitter? Who are you making fun of on Twitter? What's happening with you right now as we try to do a radio show in real time and you're distracted on Twitter?
I'm about to be feuding with a guy named Aaron Nagler, who is a very credible reporter for the Green Bay Packers, but he tweets out, I am often asked about breaking into the business of covering the NFL, to which I can only respond, do the opposite of what I did. Suck up to agents and give unrelenting hot takes. No matter how insipid or stupid, follow that path and untold riches await you. Shh. Jeez, Nagler. Come on, man.
Is that so you were telling him? What were you doing? You were DMing him to back off? Nagler, don't tell anybody the Stugotz secret.
I am, no DMs, because I am furious right now with Nagler. I am putting it out there for everyone to see, the world to see. I'm simply responding, shh.
Okay, well, he put it out there for the world.
Well, now I'm responding. I don't give away the trade secrets, man.
What you're doing seems counterintuitive.
What should I do? And what does that mean?
All right, so let's go to this reenactment.
So don't do it?
Bryant Gumbel versus Derek Jeter. And if you're just joining us, we were talking about this HBO Real Sports interview that read in print like it was contentious, okay? So if any of you are new to this story, understand that you're going to be hearing this the way that I read it in the newspaper. I was unfamiliar with what the information was, and I was surprised that Derek Jeter, in front of television cameras with Bryant Gumbel, always polished, always image conscious, was getting into a contentious interview in which they said mean things to each other. And so that's how I'm reading this. And so this is how it's playing out in my mind. HBO Real Sports would not give us the sound. We do not have, this is an artist's reenactment of what was happening in my mind. This is Bryant Gumbel versus Derek Jeter. As I read it, it's going to air tomorrow night, HBO Real Sports, but as I read it in the newspaper.
I'll just for clarification, I'll be playing the role of Bryant Gumbel and Chris will be Derek Jeter.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. But from now on, I don't want to hear from you as Billy or Guillermo. You are Bryant Gumbel for the remainder of this contentious thought in my mind.
If you were tanking, would you tell me?
Tanking? Tanking?
Tanking is not trying your hardest to win ball games in every day.
We're trying to win ball games every day.
If you trade your best players in exchange for prospects, it's unlikely you're going to win more games in the immediate future.
When you take the field, you have an opportunity to win each and every day. I repeat, each and every day. You never tell your team that you're not expected to win. Never.
Not in so.
What?
Now you think. Now. I can't tell you how to think. Like, I see your mind. I see how you think. I don't like that. That's your mind working like that.
No, I get that, but I guess not in so many words.
But you don't.
I
get it. You don't. We have two different minds. I can't wait to get you on the golf course, man. I mean, I cannot wait for this one.
No, I mean,
you're mentally weak.
No, I just am realistic. You really expect this team?
I expect this team to,
as presently configured, to
compete. To compete.
Compete is one thing.
Every single.
Watch my lips. Not compete.
I see your.
Content.
I see your lips. I've been seeing them the whole interview. I see your lips moving constantly. You'd never tell your players that you expect to lose. You don't do that. You should take that as a slap in the face as a player. You should take that as a slap in the face.
You expect them to contend?
I do. If I don't believe with the players, who's going to believe in them if I don't?
But as an executive, it looks like you're delusional.
Well,
if you'll believe otherwise.
Well, call me delusional then.
Well done.
Guillermo, you were Pacino in the last 20 years. At the end, you just started screaming. But an excellent artist's reenactment. That is how it happened in my head. It was Bryant Gumbel and Derek Jeter chest to chest yelling at each other about semantics. But can you guys do that the more gentle way, the way it actually played out, the way that HBO Real Sports will put it out in print but won't allow us to have the sound?
You want another option?
Yes.
We'll give you
please.
another one.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you guys. So you guys have a totally different reenactment. Okay, what do I need to get you guys, though? Do I need... Oh, okay. You're just going to be draped on one another. Okay, you're very close. Yeah,
very close. The breath must be...
You got your arms around each other, and Guillermo's moving his face away because I think he fears your scalding hot coffee breath.
A little less.
If you were tanking, would you tell me?
Tanking? What is... No. Tanking?
Tanking is not trying your hardest to win ball games in every day.
Listen, we're trying to win ball games every day.
If you trade your best players in exchange for prospects, it's unlikely you're going to win more games in the immediate future.
Let me help you out. When you take the field, you have an opportunity to win each and every day. Each and every day. You never tell your team you're not expected to win. Never.
Not in so...
Now you can think. No. I can tell how you think. I see your mind. I see the
Same character, man.
That's your mind working like that.
No, I get that, but I guess not in so many words.
But you don't get it. You don't.
I do.
You don't. We have two different mindsets. I cannot wait to get you on the golf course, man. I mean, I can't wait for this one.
Whoa!
No, I mean...
You're being mentally weak.
No, I'm realistic. You really expect this team?
I expect this team to...
As presently configured to contend?
Just compete. To compete.
Compete is one thing.
Every single...
Watch my lips. Not compete.
I see your...
Contend.
I see your lips. I see. I've been seeing them this whole interview. You'd never...
Let's just go to commercial there.
Dan Le Batard.
He is someone who will tell it like it is, and it doesn't matter if telling it like it is stupid.
Stugotz.
We're taking you on a one-way trip to Flavortown.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
As the sensibilities of sports fans change and a new generation moves in, Stugotz, some of the old sports broadcasters are shuffling off into silence, or in the case of Brent Musburger, debauchery in a Las Vegas. In or around a Las Vegas brothel.
Brent has arrived where he's always wanted to be. It took him. It was a long road to get there.
Right, but what I'm saying is all these guys are leaving, right? Bob Costas is going to be doing less. Vin Scully just retired. Al Michaels is going to be doing less. John Madden is gone. John Gruden is gone. There aren't really elder statesmen of broadcasting anymore. Bryant Gumbel, I'm curious what the audience thinks of him, because I've always admired and respected his work. He has tried to do good journalism and has done good journalism for a long time. He's been on television for a long time. Hell, there was a Super Bowl commercial making fun of him, and I think it was Katie Couric sort of looking at a computer and making fun of, what is this internet thing?
Yes. Recent commercial, yeah.
And I've asked Bryant Gumbel to come on with us here in the next couple of days because the things going on with the Marlins are something that I care about. And Bryant Gumbel came down here to do journalism. And I don't know if he did journalism or if he did golfing with Jeter. We'll find out tomorrow night. But Bryant Gumbel has been doing good journalism for a long time. And what I'm wondering is, do young people know that? Is that something Bryant Gumbel, HBO Real Sports, has been doing some of the best sports journalism we've seen over the last 15 or 20 years. And I'm asking you, do young people know the work that Bryant Gumbel has put in and is still putting in?
I don't think all young people know. I don't think all young people care. I do think there is certainly a percentage of young people who think he's great, who care about that kind of journalism, but I would say the majority don't.
I wonder, because what I'm telling you, when I look at Bryant Gumbel, I see esteemed journalist, someone who cares. That's what I see. I see an elder statesman who has represented the industry very well. But I don't know if young people just look at him and say television foof, television clown. I don't know how it is that you guys view Bryant Gumbel. He doesn't do much stuff like this where you see him interviewed everywhere. He's been famous for a long time.
Also, young people, not the audience Real Sports is going for. When young people steal HBO Go logins, they're doing so for Game of Thrones.
Right.
I don't really see them getting around to Real Sports, and I don't really see Real Sports reaching out to that type of viewer.
Someone text in, Dan, we just don't care.
About which part, though?
About Gumbel.
Okay, but you don't care about
and journalism.
Okay, you don't care about Gumbel. You don't care about journalism. You don't care about the Marlins. You don't care about baseball. We'll stay right here. because I want to talk about what HBO Real Sports is doing tomorrow night. Now, they wanted to interview me for that piece, and ESPN said, nope, you're not doing that. They don't say no very often on stuff like that. Nope, you're not doing that. Because I already got into a mess with baseball and Manfred, and baseball and ESPN have a partnership that complicates things in ways that are crazy, because football and baseball are being paid a lot of money by this network, and we are trying to also cover baseball and football in ways that are critical. So that becomes a constant journalistic navigation. And if HBO Real Sports is sniffing around this garbage the Marlins have been pulling off here for a while, I want to know what becomes of that. HBO Real Sports won't give us the sound for whatever the reason is. So we don't have access to any of the information, but I want you to have the information so you can see what kind of clown show sometimes baseball can be, and how South Florida is the one that keeps getting bleeped over and over again in this exchange. But that's the reason I'm asking you about Brian Gumbel, because once upon a time in sports journalism, and media has changed a lot, Brian Gumbel comes to your town to do the story on your team. You don't want that. You don't want the questions that come with that out in front of the light. Brian Gumbel's not here to do a profile on Derek Jeter, I don't think.
No.
Everything around this Marlins franchise smells foul. It smells like when you look at the lawsuits, you would say if you read lawsuits, it sounds corrupt.
But Dan, here's where we've arrived, and I think especially the younger portion of the audience is, we don't need Brian Gumbel to tell us that Derek Jeter is tanking. We don't need Brian Gumbel to tell us that what's going on down here in the city of Miami is corrupted. They just need, it could be anyone. It could be me. It could be Roy. It could be Chris. It could be Billy. We all know what Derek Jeter is doing. He's tanking, and we all know how he's going to answer that question. Okay. He's not going to.
All right, but this is the difference between me and you and journalism and you and this argument that you're having with this person. Who is this person that you are arguing with on Twitter? Because you have your hot take. I don't need any questions to say that Derek Jeter is morally bankrupt and corrupt and that they're tanking. And what I'm saying to you is that journalistically, we need people to still ask those questions. And it becomes hard when ESPN has bought everything in sports, and it becomes hard when those partnerships are with baseball and football, you paying them millions, them making millions, and then you get the situation where your content ends up being in bed with the people you're covering in a way that gets playmakers killed. And whatever the NPR, whatever the hell that scandal was, where we were in doing a concussions report and then we weren't, out of nowhere. We were doing a concussions report, and so I still care about that stuff. But if you're telling me to go to hell, I'll say hi to Art Browse when I get there.
All right.
Splash!
I want to be clear. I'm not telling you to go to hell. Young people are. I'm old, man. I'm just telling you what they're saying on the text.
Okay, but what are they telling me to go to hell about?
We don't need Brian Gumbel to validate things that we already know. We just don't need it, and that he's annoying. That's what they're saying.
No, but that's not okay. But I'm not asking Brian Gumbel to validate things you already know. I'm asking somebody to ask people in power difficult questions.
I'm just telling you what the people are saying, okay? Not my words, the people's words, but I speak on behalf of the people, and they're saying boring, don't need him, and he's annoying.
Okay, and the people are. This is the core.
The people, though.
This is the core dispute that you're having with this guy on Twitter. It's now coming between me and you. You're saying, Dan, I know what I know, and it pays. And I'm saying, journalism used to be something different than what we're looking at right now.
Dan Batard.
It's an opinion question. I gave you my answer.
Okay, but you're wrong.
Oh.
Stugotz.
I don't respect your opinion.
Okay.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Dan Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get the feeling of being rewarded with gold status at Shell with the Fuel Rewards program. Download the Fuel Rewards app. Join and start saving 5 cents a gallon today. Here's your SportsCenter update. White Sox reliever Danny Farquhar had brain surgery to relieve swelling in his skull from brain hemorrhaging. It was revealed after the Flyers series ending loss to the Penguins that Sean Courtier scored his 3 goals and 2 assists in Game 6 on a torn MCL. Hockey player.
That's sport, man.
It's a hockey player. And finally, according to the Honolulu Star-Advertiser, 20-year-old Dylan McWilliams of Colorado was bitten by a shark Thursday while swimming off the island of Kauai, like Leonard. He suffered several cuts to his leg. McWilliams said he believes a tiger shark bit him. This was not McWilliams' first painful bite from a wild animal. In fact, it was his third. Last July, he was attacked by a bear in Colorado. The bear bit his skull, grabbed his head, and dragged him about 12 feet from where he was sleeping. The Advertiser, reported McWilliams was also bitten by a rattlesnake while hiking in Utah about 3.5 years ago.
Allison, get him on the phone.
Kidding me? Amazing. 3 goals, 2 assists with a torn MCL. Think about that. Being a mom is like 1,000 little jobs all wrapped into one. This Mother's Day, show her your appreciation with 36 sorbet roses for $36. That's such a great deal. Only from our friends at 1-800-Flowers.com. To order, it's simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Mike, you have a musical ear. The way Stugotz just said 4 when he was reading there, 4, he put the R before the O, and there's some U in there. That's got some music written all over it.
Where was that?
It's funny.
Where did I do that?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, I know where I did it. Yeah.
It'll be funny musically in a segment from now.
Okay.
So nobody wants to talk about journalism, Stugotz, so we will move on to other things. I want to now wage war against the University of Central Florida. I mean, they're sitting here doing all this national championship stuff, and there is a little Stugotz in me. We could have done this for you so much bigger and better, and you wouldn't allow it because your school bureaucracy got in the way of fun and exciting. For those of you who do not know, this show rather inexplicably threw its Levitardian weight behind UCF at the end. And it was a lot of weight.
Yeah, that's some inertia going.
Yeah.
We threw some weight at it. We made calls. We're talking to administrators. We're telling them yes, yes, yes. On budget, ESPN is like, we want to do this.
We were going to steal a bus.
Yes, yes, you remember that. It really did escalate, and all the things were in place, and then we get to the school, and it's like...
we never actually got to the school.
No, I didn't mean physically get to the school. I mean we had everything in place to help them make this a big and legitimate controversy, and instead, they went another route.
What route? I mean,
they went to the route of they gave their players rings this weekend. There was they had a celebration. And when I saw the crowd, I'm like, oh, they deserve a crowd.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the photos and there's nobody in the crowd. And I'm like, you could have avoided that if you just let ESPN get behind it. And It was just an administrative clown show.
Plus, you're pretty far removed from the actual, the thing happening. But yes, if you had ESPN and the show behind you with some promotion, perhaps those kids would have gotten what they deserved, which was a crowd.
That's right. First of all, I'm surprised. The NCAA is going to rain down and take those rings, right? The NCAA is going to say those rings, that players aren't allowed to get rings.
Oh, why?
I don't know, because it seems like something that's impermissible. It seems like you can't just give players jewelry.
You can if you win a national championship.
But they didn't win the national championship.
No, they did.
They did, though. Yeah,
they did.
The thing. Yeah.
Say they didn't.
Yeah.
It says it on their stadium.
It says on their stadium. It says it on police cruisers.
All right, Guillermo, can you help me with the reporting from this? Were there people there? Because the crowd shots I was seeing was like, no, this is not the way you do this. You could have made this so much larger.
I mean, it's also like their 27th celebration.
Yeah, I know, but they didn't do the one big one that we could have helped them with. They did their own, but they didn't take our T-shirts.
I mean, they did one huge one. Well, they did a couple.
We printed 5,000. Was it 5,000 T-shirts, Mike?
Oh yeah, there was a line that stretched 2 blocks. We got rid of all those shirts somehow. It was
really?
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, we saved a box, but we could have clearly gotten rid of all of them. I thought it was going to be a huge issue. The only thing that's been hard to move has been this cumbersome trophy that if you were...
I saw you trying to give it to Josh Norman when he was here. Hey, Josh, you're great. This is a trophy for being Josh Norman.
It didn't really make sense. I was hoping that we could see the Griffin twins at some point and just give it to them, and then it's their problem.
Right.
I don't know what to do with it.
How heavy is that thing?
It's very heavy.
What is that made out of? Is that gold bricks?
This is tungsten, which is the strongest metal.
Wow.
Yeah. This is a marble finish.
Wait a minute. How do you know that? Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Did you know that tungsten was the strongest metal? How did you know that? How did you know any of
Are
that?
you just taking Mike's word for it?
With caution.
How much do you think we could get if we auction that thing? Or pawned it?
Well, what would we do with the money?
If we're better off pawning it. Because
hypothetically, if we
Oh,
auctioned
no. You
it.
guys are so wrong. Somebody would totally buy that. If we put that, man, you know how much support this show has right now? If you put that on eBay, I think somebody paid, Stugotz, somebody paid tens of thousands of dollars to drink with me and Stugotz at a Heat game.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. We didn't watch the game.
Not to us. Yeah. I didn't get any of that. That was it was to charity.
And also meet us.
Yeah. They shook their hands and everything. Yeah.
Meet us. In fact,
that doesn't work the way that I'm framing this.
According to MetalSupermarkets.com, tungsten is indeed one of the 4 strongest metals out there.
Whoa, you do not say that you are not informed. You got Mike Rye, the science guy.
There are 3 others on that list, just so you know. Steel, titanium, and Inconel. No idea if I'm saying that right, but listen, this is the definitive list.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on the poll. Is Stugotz saying that right?
Metals.
Is Stugotz saying that right?
I mean, it's the metal supermarket, man. They're an authority, and I'm not saying it.
How much does that thing weigh? Mike, we could get money for that.
This thing weighs 250 pounds.
All right, so what should we do when we put it on eBay and auction it? That money that we raise, how can we feud with either ESPN or UCF? Who can we feud with? I just want to take that money and feud with somebody.
I'm not sure what you can feud with, what you can fund with $27.
Yeah.
You guys don't think that would sell for anything?
Money.
Can we test it?
It must cost just to ship this thing alone.
Wait, hold on.
So a fake auction to test it? That's not how it works.
No. Wait, well, how does it work? Explain to us how it works. Can you put something on there, and if someone makes an offer, can you reject the offer?
This is what I want to know as we have our show meeting on the air.
Because if they don't have a site like that, they should.
This is what I want to know. Are we allowed to put that on the internet and raise money for it in some sort of credible way? Do we have to ask permission from somebody at ESPN to do this?
Yes. Yeah, that's definite. And keep in mind, I am planning on opening up a brick and mortar museum at some point, and this would be a mighty fine centerpiece.
Are you trying to push me off this? Is there a way that we can do this? Is there a way that we could get permission to sell that thing on the internet to show UCF what they missed out on when that raises a stupid amount of money?
Sell
Man,
it for profit?
Do you not remember when Flembrandt was on the street selling art that Guillermo had drawn up the night before? He went on the street.
Whoa.
Hey.
Lost the line,
man. And the V Foundation thanks you because that's where the proceeds went.
They're welcome. My pleasure.
5 cents, 10 cents,
Flembrandt.
$1.
All right, but why can't we do this right now? Tell me that we can get permission through the Jimmy V Foundation. Any amount bid will go to the Jimmy V Foundation, that we can get that on the interwebs and have people bidding on it like next segment, beginning next segment.
No, that's not how red tape works.
No, come on, Mike.
Red tape, next segment is difficult. Give me a little bit.
Okay. But I don't want this to fiddle away like the UCF thing did.
Do you realize how long Pablo and Bomani have had a unnamed show?
Yeah.
It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
And you want me to get a V Foundation auction off the ground in 10 minutes?
Is that why they have me dating co-hosts on television? Because Bomani left for a TV show that was going to start soon? I've dated everyone in the industry on television.
It's brick and mortar.
Didn't I say that?
I'm a whore.
Said motor.
Catch more of the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz, 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Next. You're holding up the line, ma'am.
What did you say?
You're next in line for the water slide, ma'am. Feet forward and enjoy the ride.
Okay, dearie. This does look fun. Whee-oh! Oh, you melted me. I've melted.
The Wicked Witch of the West on a water slide? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
See what you've done. Oh!
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Don Le Batard.
Give us as much as you can here. Take us up to the dramatic first pitch, Billy.
Jose Ureña standing at the back of the mound. He reaches down. He's rubbing some dirt and rosin on his hands. And here we go.
Stugotz.
And the pitch. Oh, God, a home run on the first pitch of the game. Oh, my God.
Welcome, Derek Jeter. And that concludes our Marlins coverage for the season.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
We love the NBA playoffs around here, and we are now engaged. I botched a couple of interviews last week with Zach Lowe and Arnovitz because I haven't been interested in the first round, but we will correct that going forward, and Jay Williams is about to join us in part to correct that.
This has been the best first round in the history of the NBA playoffs.
You do that every year, Stugotz.
Well, but this year, I'm serious.
All right, I do want to make fun of all of we analysts who picked the Trailblazers to beat the Pelicans. There were 22 of you out there at the network making predictions. All 22 of you got that series wrong, and not just wrong, a sweep in the other direction. It couldn't have been more wrong. So we'll get to Jay Williams in a second, and he's doing a documentary and a docuseries with LeBron James. Jay Williams has led an incredibly interesting life. But before we get to the serious basketball analysis, Stugotz, I feel like in your home talking to your wife yesterday was the correct analysis of Cavs Pacers. And this was the conversation that Stugotz and his wife were having during the game.
Yeah, because the Pacers were kind of up there late in the third quarter. Then it got to the fourth quarter. My wife got interested, so she sat down and watched the fourth quarter with me. And I said, hey, who do you think's going to win here? She just kept saying LeBron. Not Cavs, just LeBron. LeBron. Then Bogdanovich hit a big three, and there was a fist pump. And I wanted to see if my wife was wavering at all. So I said, Abby, who do you think's going to win here? Who would you rather be? She said, maybe the Pacers.
Oh, what?
And to which Abby, stay the course.
Stay strong.
Because the Pacers coach would rather be the Cavs than the Pacers.
That is correct.
Because of that guy.
Guys, put it on the poll, Guillermo. When Bogdanovich hit that three, would the Pacers coach would have rather been on the Cavs bench?
And then she said, who is the Pacers coach? I said, I have no idea. I said Frank Vogel, and then I realized he was just fired from Orlando. Anyway, I was right, and she said, listen, I will never question you again. I'll never question him again. Right. I said, no, you can question him when they play Golden State.
Okay, but that's the only time.
That's the only time.
Man, let me explain something to you. We are going to have one hell of a time explaining to our grandchildren how the hell LeBron lost 6 times in the final. Good luck with that one. I'm telling you, it's a future problem you're not going to be able to explain. It's going to be like, wait, Wilt won 1? Why? What? Why?
I'll just tell the grandkids he's a choker.
All right, that's right. Jay Williams with us on ESPN Radio, and thank you for being patient with us. Jay, what Stugotz just did there, is that the analysis in the East? Will it suffice?
Pretty much. I mean, look, I'm getting married, guys, on May 3rd. I'm making the plunge.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. You have that to look forward to.
Yes, Stu. I don't know if you sound too happy about that, Stu. I kind of feel like I'm a little bit worried in your voice here. Am I making the right decision? Making a mistake? Talk to me through this.
Well, I'm happy for you for the honeymoon phase, because that phase is always a good phase. It's after you have exited the honeymoon phase where I'm concerned for you, Jay. I got to be honest.
So when does that start? Is that like 2 years? Is that 3 years in? Like, when does it start to get real?
So it probably already started, right? You're in that honeymoon phase now. Then you'll get married. You'll go on the actual honeymoon. That should last for about 1.5 years, and then it's all downhill from there.
Hold on a second. Can we do this, please? Because you got this documentary, and we've got the NBA playoffs, and I want to get to your beef with Jalen Rose from your rookie year. But I think I do like the idea better of Stugotz giving marital advice to somebody who's about to get married. So can we do that for 5 minutes?
Sure.
I would love that. That sounds great.
All right, what advice you looking for here, Jay? What else can I help you with? Because I'm telling you, like 1.5 years in, then it just gets down to you and her, Jay. And can you have that? Will she be accepting of the Jay Williams that I know, that we all know, that we love? Will she, and she knows, will she be accepting of that and patient with that for the remainder of time? And that's the big question. And you won't know until, after about 1.5 years time. And I'm telling you, she probably won't, Jay. Anyway, go ahead. What advice do you have? Yeah.
I mean, I'm not patient with myself. So how about this? How about some foundational questions here? Like, when will I ever be right? Will I ever be right in our relationship, or can I expect to live a life of always being wrong?
No, you'll always be wrong. And even when you come with gifts, meaning you're in an argument and you're trying to like buy yourself a right, it's still not going to work. She'll take the gifts. She'll say thank you. There might be, a little loving later on that evening, but you'll still be wrong. So the answer to that question is you'll never be right again, ever, about anything.
Okay, and then how about creating sexy time? Like, how do you go about creating sexy time? Does that eventually fade? Like, how does it, like, is it romance? Like, do you need to always make extra effort, or does eventually things just not work for if you keep using the same old tricks?
So in the honeymoon phase, I mean, sexy time will be any time you want, okay? When that phase is over, just Sunday nights. And really what I do is I just shave. That's it. I shave, I make a little dinner, and then Sunday nights, man, it is from 8 to 8:05. It is just unbelievable, Jay. Lit. Yeah, it is lit. And listen, 2 of those 3 minutes is the sandwich and the cigarette. But I'm telling you, 8 to 8:05 is fantastic. And Jay, I'm telling you, listen, at some point in this relationship, she just want to get through it. That's it. Jay, you're going to want her forever, okay? She's going to be sexy at some point. You will cease to be sexy to her, and she just wants to get through it, man.
Wait, Stu, can we go back to it? Like, shave, are we talking about entire body shave? Like a presentation?
But wait, Jay, you look much better than Stugotz does.
Oh, it's debatable. But anyway, no, Jay, what I'm saying is, no, I just shaved the face.
Debatable?
She doesn't like the facial hair. She hates it because it scratches her face. And so I'm just telling you, shave. That's it. That's all I'm telling you. And that is debatable.
Okay.
It's debatable. I'm a good-looking guy.
Stu, I thought you like the flavor saver. Is that what you call it?
What is it?
The flavor saver.
What is that?
Okay, I'm uncomfortable now.
All right, yeah. Things just made an awkward turn. Okay, let's bring it back to playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, is that all you got? Are you going to give him any more information? Are you going to give him any more advice? He's getting married. Is it scary? I imagine, Jay, that you were quite the player. Like, I imagine that.
I'm kind of waiting for the invite before I give Jay some more information here. I mean, be nice.
No, you know what, Dan? I'm really low key when it comes to it. So, like, I'm stoked about it. I just, it's all my other friends who aren't married who have gone through divorces, which makes you worried about it because when you try to get advice from them, they're like, "Oh God, don't do it. Are you sure? Yeah. You want to just take some more time for yourself?" I'm like, dude, I'm 36. How much more time for myself do I really need? I don't know.
Jay, have you lived with her at all?
That's what works.
Have you guys lived together at all?
Yeah, we've been living together for a while.
That's important. The reason Dan will attest to this. I have a very healthy marriage. She accepts me for what I am, which is a complete dirtbag. But she accepts me for that, Jay, for what I am. And I'm telling you, I lived with her for a year before we got married just to make sure that she could live with me. It wasn't me living with her. She could stomach me coming home to her apartment.
But it's funny what Jay...
And it's important to do, Jay, so I'm glad you did that.
What's funny about Jay, so you're asking your friends and they're all telling you not to do it?
Well, no. A lot of my friends have gone through divorces already, so they're tainted. You know what I mean, D? I think that's the problem. It's not they all love her. They think she's incredible.
Right.
I think it's about the perception of institutionalized a marriage. That's the part they don't like.
Right.
You know what's funny, Jay? We had this conversation. God, how long ago was this? 10 years ago? Lamar Odom came on one time and just had a lot of relationship advice for us. There was somebody in our circle who everybody wanted to tell that, hey, you're making a mistake in getting married. And so we asked Lamar Odom's advice on that. And his response was, you get one of your boys one time to tell your friend the idea of, look, this group is not in line with the woman. And I know you're not saying that. I'm just saying that the last time, the amazing thing that happened after that, where the Kardashians take over the NBA and Lamar Odom spirals into horror after he gave us like really wise advice. Listen to this.
Tell him one time.
And you tell him gently or you tell him strongly?
I'll be Lamar. Probably tell him exactly how I feel.
And you'd respect the friend who did that for you, correct? Because it's a tricky thing. When you love somebody, it's a tricky thing. You don't necessarily want to hear it from your boys.
100%, It's so funny because when you love somebody, you'll know if you love them because you don't need your boys that much. You can't live without that person.
So do you know, Jay? You can't live without that person. You don't need your boys so much anymore. There's your answer.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing about needing my boys. I always want to have my boys around. I just also love my wife. I choose to do things differently.
I miss my boys so much, man. I miss my boys, man. Oh, man, do I miss my boys. And I'm glad we're taking advice from Lamar Odom.
to Lamar Odom. I don't know if that's the one I want to actually. Well, actually,
Jay, I would kill for a weekend with my boys, dude. Oh my God!
Why wouldn't you take one?
I
See,
can't.
I don't have kids yet. I mean,
Jay, I can't.
How
I
many
have
kids do you have?
Well, Jay, I have 2 kids. That's not the problem. The kid's not the problem. I have no money left.
Yeah. Well, you got to ask Sam for a raise.
I mean, Mikey T, the Jets fan. I mean, me, him, Jeff Oak. I mean, God, the guy. I miss my boys, Jay. I miss my boys.
Jay, we will talk to you next time. How about next segment? Mike, I want to do some NBA. I do. I want to talk some NBA. But Jay Williams comes back next.
Dame más gasolina.
Seen those guys in forever, man. Used to come over every weekend, Dan. They used to hang out at the house. My wife's banned everyone. You know, all her friends come over whenever they want. My friends, never. Never allowed over the house. Mikey, too. I miss him.
Dan Le Batard.
There's a belief that there's gold in the heads of bald men. So police in Mozambique are warning bald men.
Stugotz.
I'd cut my own head off if I were bald. See if there's gold in there. I like money.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I love this Russell Westbrook quote. Ricky Rubio goes crazy the other night, and it was just great. He should have been riding around on a white horse as a telenovela character, shooting jump shots off a horse. Ricky Rubio was rugged and sexy and Latino in ways that you do not normally see in the NBA, and Westbrook's not here for it.
What led him to get so hot there?
He made some shots, too comfortable, but I'm going to shut that off next game, though. Guarantee that.
There you go.
And I believe him.
I believe him, too. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Do you believe him? I believe him, too. I believe that bleep will be shut off next game. I don't know what the bleep is, but it'll be shut off. If it's anywhere on Rubio's body, I believe it will not be turned on. We all believe that. But, man, Rubio got the night. Woo! He should have been dressed as a knight.
And he's made some really good decisions with his hair lately. I'm really feeling this new
he
look.
is just giving off, I care about my hair a great deal.
He's giving off a tennis player, is he not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Does anyone in the league care more about their hair? Because you got that Elfrid Payton guy who goes to like some sort of gardener to have his hair done. Like somebody who trims those trees into animal shapes.
I can tell you J.J. Redick cares deeply about his hair.
Oh, that fade is always so clean.
Yeah,
He's got
always
the
clean.
cleanest fade.
Who cares the most, though? Who's got
Rubio's getting up there. It's a good call on the tennis player because Ricky Rubio looks like he's going to dominate Roland Garros.
Really does, yes.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Does Ricky Rubio look like he's going to totally dominate Roland Garros? Roland Garros is a funny phrase. I'm not even sure why it's funny, but it is just to dismiss all of tennis with Roland Garros.
Because everyone else calls it the French Open.
Yeah. Mike.
But us tennis zealots, we know.
Mike, I got to be honest with you. Mike, I got to be honest with you. This is literally the only thing I know about Roland Garros. I don't even know what it is. I just know it's a thing associated with tennis. I'm not kidding you that the phrase, I don't know what it means. I just know.
That's a French Open.
Yeah. I know.
It's a clay surface.
I know, but what?
It's what Rafael Nadal's going to win again.
What does Roland Garros mean? Who is it?
It means the French Open.
No. So nobody knows what it means.
It means the red clay.
Is anyone else in this?
It means Nadal.
It means Nadal winning again.
Okay, very good. Regardless, Westbrook says he's going to shut that bleep off.
I'm pretty sure it's just the name of the site, by the way.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I think it is, yeah.
I have no idea. Is mine a common confusion or am I alone? Because I am very afraid and vulnerable right now. Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. Do you know what Roland Garros actually is?
It's named after a French aviator, Roland Garros.
Okay, so it's a person.
Yeah. It sounds like a person, right?
Yeah.
I did not know what it was. Did you? Are you guys making me feel alone with my vulnerability right now? Everyone here knew that this was so?
Yeah.
That he's a French aviator, Dan.
There's been a recent trend where people just straight up call it Roland Garros now. We're not even referring to it as the French Open, which really sort of changes up the Grand Slam because they were always so easy. But I like this because it's the tennis purist in me. Roland Garros. That's what I like to call it because I'm a tennis nerd.
Good old Roland.
I call it the red clay.
So it's a French aviator, a famous French aviator.
Yeah, he was He fought in World War I. Yes, Roland Garros.
Okay, so none of you knew this then. None of you.
I didn't know that he was a French.
None of you knew anything. Okay, you made me feel all alone there, like I was a real idiot.
I knew the clay was red. I mean, and Nadal dominates that thing.
You see the tear that he's on clay right now?
It's unbelievable.
He's back.
Yep, making wedges.
With that oversized arm of his?
Nadal does these things where he goes away for like a year and a half because he's so riddled with injuries, and it just saves up for one more Roland Garros run.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please, and all of you, Google the Google arm, the oversized arm of Nadal, because it's weird that we haven't covered this more, but the nature of tennis is such that one part of his body is totally deformed because he's working the muscles a lot more than the other side of his body. And so he's got an incredible Hulk arm, and everybody should be asking questions about this. Like his chiropractor, his doctors, tennis journalists, Roland Garros.
Dan Le Batard.
The bifocal eyeglasses.
Stugotz.
Marcus Mariota. Growing up right in front of our eyes.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. The postponement of the Braves-Mets game yesterday is the 26th weather-related postponement, the most through the first month of the season. Former Michigan linebacker Elise Mbossi apologized for a string of threatening tweets towards his former head coach, Jim Harbaugh. And finally, according to the LA Times, Netflix is looking into buying movie theaters. Previous talks between Netflix and Landmark Theaters broke down after Netflix decided the price was too high. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Allison, at some point, can we talk to an expert on Netflix about what Netflix is doing? Because their content model is interesting, and I'm just curious. Netflix, the idea of how much television has changed in even the last 10 years, how we consume this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening so quickly and so crazily, and Netflix is just spilling money. I'm watching these movies with stars that I didn't know existed, that only exist in this Netflix world. They're beautifully shot. They are trying to make content outside of the movie theater business.
Right.
And I don't know how the hell the movie theater can survive in the digital climate. Like, you know how newspapers have been gobbled up and radio as technology is getting gobbled up, print has gotten gobbled up,
Sure.
Television is now getting gobbled up. How can the next thing not be movie theaters? Movie studios.
But why is Netflix looking into purchasing? There's still an attraction, Dan, of going with your friends or going with a date or going with your wife to the movie theater. There still is. Sitting in the seats, the big screen, get some popcorn, a soda. There's still an attraction to that, right?
Well, there are other companies that are trying to do memberships so you can pay a certain fixed price and go to a movie theater and watch all the movies that you want for that fixed price. Netflix already has the infrastructure and the brand name for something like this. So if they have Netflix branded movie theaters, you can do it as an add-on to your already existing Netflix membership, and they already have a huge base.
I'll tell you what, it's confusing. Are you not confused? Like, there's too much content out there. I can't keep up with it all. There's too many shows to watch, too many movies to watch.
I imagine that's happening with a lot of people because entertainment is where it always has been. The top 10% is better than it ever was. The bottom 10% is worse than it ever was. And the middle 80% is pretty bleeping mediocre. And so people are discerning and they're finding where it is they can find the top 10% that they want. They're finding their own television, much like they're making their own newspapers on Twitter, on social media. They're making their own journalism. That's what they're doing here. They're making their own entertainment center on their phones, on their iPads. And Netflix feels to me like they're a little bit far ahead on getting into this particular game where they're throwing money. They're Tesla of the entertainment world. Who's doing this more? Mike, please forgive my ignorance because I'm asking you these questions and I haven't researched any of this stuff. But who's throwing more money at the idea of all of this is changing, and if we own our own Game of Thrones, we don't need HBO anymore. Like, all of this is changing. We can be the studios. Weinstein's going down in flames. Every power that he had is going down in flames. How would literal capitalists not descend like prey on Hollywood right now to steal the content? They're already doing it with the actors. The actors want to go and do their own series someplace else where they can have creative control. Adam Sandler can have creative control over everything.
Right. Well, that's where you're saying the rise of crowdfunding, because people need funding to get these projects made, and there's all sorts of agreements that you can get in return for funding, whether it's ownership of some sort or memorabilia or what have you. So there's still options out there, but the people that are still running things are the people with the money, and those are the big companies like Amazon, Netflix, and the big production companies.
Forgive me here. Stugotz's weekend observations are coming in 25 minutes, and Guillermo, right now, as Mike Ryan was talking, just what can only be called as the most cavernous yawn I've ever seen in my life, right in my face, suggests to me that perhaps I should change subjects. So, Stugotz and Mike Ryan were arguing during the break, and they were arguing about the draft. They were excited. They were fired up. And so I'm sorry for getting in the way.
Jesus, I just saw the yawn.
Yeah, it was bad.
We're on tape delay on television?
Bill, you didn't think you were on TV there, right? Because I was going to yawn too, but I know that there's a good chance.
All right, well, go back to give the people what they want. Go back to what
Netflix.
No,
I don't know what they're doing. I know they're losing money. That's what I know.
You and Mike arguing about the draft. Tell me what it is.
It's not so much that we're arguing about the draft as much as we're excited. It's draft week.
Yeah, we're sharing notes.
And I'm telling you, Adam Schefter is being strangely quiet. And when Schefter is quiet, big things are happening. You can take that to the bank. In fact, put that on the poll.
Well, he got busy
when Schefter is quiet, are big things happening?
Stugotz, he understandably got a little busy with the basketball beat.
He did, yeah.
He was covering that Jazz game.
Did sidelines, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, he's a man, he's a titan of the industry because he's the only one that does both.
Yeah, well, you're right. But it's exciting, right? This is exciting. It's a couple of days away. It's a 3-night event. I mean, and there are so many quarterbacks. Dan, this is the part. I'm not going to be right till Thursday night, until the Jets make their pick. Because I am so confused. Everyone's lying. Smoke screens everywhere. I don't know who to believe, who not to believe. And the Jets, I would prefer if there were maybe 3 quarterbacks. There's like 7 in this draft.
And they could all be great or they could all bust.
Right. I just want one to land to the new. I don't want the Jets to have to make decisions. That's what I'm most nervous about because I don't trust the people who are making their decisions.
Oh, you're getting Baker Mayfield. You got to be so excited. Although maybe you thought Josh Allen was going to be off the board, but Peter King has a source that tells him, and this source, he qualifies it by saying, this guy's almost always right. Almost always right.
Is that what he said?
He said that the Browns are not going to take Josh Allen number 1 overall.
Wow.
So that opens up the possibilities for Josh Allen number 3. But we all think in this room that Baker Mayfield will be an excellent fit in New York.
Yeah. Right.
Think about it. He'd be a superstar over there.
So who are you thinking the Browns at number 1? I'm sorry?
I'm thinking Sam Darnold number 1 because you got Ty God Taylor.
Right.
And so obviously Sam Darnold's a player that needs to bake.
Right.
Take an off season, learn the playbook. However, don't eat too much in this off season because he looks like he's one bad off season away from being a weight concern. In fact, maybe you want to work in some of that into the contract. I'm just saying.
So, I mean, you go Darnold there because the Giants are interested in Darnold, right? That's been out there. Although we don't know who to believe, we don't know who not to believe at this time of year. So you're saying you don't want to go Saquon Barkley, get your running back, and then just let the quarterback fall to you?
No, you got to pick the quarterback that you want. And keep in mind, Hugh Jackson, bit of a USC guy as well. So Sam Darnold is a clear pick, number 1. Number 2, who knows? They could go Saquon. They can go Chubb. They can go quarterback there.
Right.
We know Gettleman likes Eli Manning for some reason.
He does. I do wonder, man. Gettleman, he holds all the cards in this entire equation. He does. He holds all the cards. Gettleman holds the cards in this draft. He does.
He? I feel like the Browns own all the cards because nobody knows what the Browns are doing just yet. Except for me, I told you, Sam Darnold, Hugh Jackson, USC guy.
Right, Sam Darnold and maybe Saquon Barkley. If the Giants don't take Saquon Barkley, if the Giants do take Saquon Barkley, maybe the Browns take 2 quarterbacks. Wow, this is going to be exciting.
Saquon can slide down this draft board, even though many believe him to be the best player. It's crazy. It's crazy. And guess what? The Cardinals, they don't like Baker Mayfield. They love
Get out of here.
Baker Mayfield. That's according to Peter King.
Where do the Cardinals pick?
I don't know where the Cardinals pick.
See, and that's my other concern.
They got a quarterback in Sam Bradford, didn't they?
Right. My other concern is there are a lot of teams that like Baker Mayfield, and someone's going to hop ahead of the Jets to the Giants pick and take Baker Mayfield. That's my other concern.
Do you think Baker Mayfield has it?
He does have it, yes. The it factor is certainly there.
He certainly has it.
Guys, we'll figure out where everyone's going tomorrow when Greg Cody tells us his mock draft.
Oh yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, the Cardinals pick at 15. I don't think the Cardinals, unless they're going to trade up.
But they have ammo.
What do they have?
Ammo.
They have ammo. It's a good point. Listen, ammo comes in all different forms, shapes, and sizes, and you don't need to be specific on ammo. Just know that the Cardinals have ammo, and that's it. Mike is right about that. I'm sorry for the follow-up.
Yeah. You know who doesn't have ammo? Seattle Seahawks. Oh. Which is why they probably need to trade down to get some ammo.
Yeah. Would you be upset if the Browns took 2 quarterbacks?
I would be.
Why?
Because that's stupid.
Right, but if you have 2 with Ty God, one of them has to be good.
They already have a quarterback on their roster, right? They were 0-16. They have 1 win over the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So they're going to take not only one player that's not going to help them get better this season, they're going to take 2.
Yeah, in the effort to get that position right, yes.
Are you, now in talking it out, do you realize how stupid that would be?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
If you get 2 quarterbacks, that's some serious ammo, though.
Oh, yeah, but right. That's Mike. It's a good point.
No,
then you have ammunition.
Point. It's a fair point to
Then you have Mike.
It's a fair point.
Then you have ammo. I mean, 2 quarterbacks, you got ammo. Okay,
you, sir.
You trade Darnold because you know, sitting behind Ty God, he needs exercise or else that kid's gonna blow up. So you trade Darnold, man. That's it.
Yeah, the face is round.
Right.
Yeah,
the face is round.
It's a round face. Yeah.
Yeah. This is exciting, right? This is exciting.
Oh, I can't contain my excitement.
Right.
I can't. I don't even know if I'm going to make it to Thursday. I might just spontaneously combust.
I mean, the future of our 2 teams, the 2 worst teams in the NFL, Mike's a Browns fan, I'm a Jets fan. I mean, their futures, any questions you have about the long-term future of these 2 teams will be answered on Thursday, we think. You never know. Because it's really 2 years. It's 2 years. It's the questions we have will be answered in 2 years. Is that fair?
That's fair.
It's fair, right? 2 years?
Fair. Although with some people, right away.
Yeah. Right.
I want to draft a quarterback that I know right away.
Okay.
That one's good. Because if they come out, now I say this understanding Sam Darnold needs to bake. But if he comes out and is not very impressive right away, bust. And less ammo.
Yeah.
Got to be honest with you guys. I did some research over the weekend.
Yeah.
I know with the Jets at, number 3, everyone's saying maybe it's Josh Allen now. Maybe it's Josh Rosen.
Well, Josh Allen, obviously in play because of what we said, the guy that's always right.
Maybe it's Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
I'm just telling you.
Who do you want?
Okay.
I want Lamar Jackson.
Whoa! You didn't even mention
Dame más gasolina.
I'm not joking here. That's the quarterback I want.
One thing we can all agree on, though, eye test Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure. Flying colors.
Yeah, can't miss. Yeah.
But he may slide.
Only because he's a running back and that position isn't as valued as it once was.
I could see a crazy run on quarterbacks. Once one goes, then they realize all 7 have to go right after.
Yeah. That's why I like Lamar Jackson. Running back and quarterback. How about that?
Buffalo Wild Wings. The NFL draft is Thursday. Get your friends together at Buffalo Wild Wings. Find out if your team drafted a bust or drafted 2 quarterbacks.
You don't want to make the mistake of putting Lamar Jackson at a different position. You should know better.
I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that he can tote the rock.
Be careful.
Okay, you're right. Right.
Tell them more about Buffalo Wild Wings, Stugotz, where you could watch Lamar Jackson be drafted and possibly fall in the draft.
What if the Bills trade up?
Oh, that's my biggest fear.
Yeah, that's a huge fear for
you.
you.
They don't have a quarterback.
It's not a fear for me because I hold all the cards.
Yes, you do.
Gentlemen.
You're a card holder.
Don't forget, you can hear more of my sons Dan and Stu weekdays starting at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Dan Le Batard.
Yo, chicken time.
Stugotz.
Smarter guy.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Tune in tonight as James Harden and the Rockets visit Jimmy Butler and the Timberwolves. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern on most ESPN radio stations. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Spurs win versus the Warriors gave Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker the most playoff wins as teammates in NBA history with 132. During the Giants-Angels game, Brandon Belt faced 21 pitches in a single at-bat versus Jaime Barrea. That's a major league record. Boring.
That's not good for baseball.
No, it is not.
Oh, my God. How many pitches?
21 pitches.
How long was the at-bat? Like
12 and a half minutes.
15 minutes?
12 and a half minutes.
Oh,
boredom.
Wait a minute. 15 minutes? Wait a minute.
12 and a half is fine.
Wait. 12 and a half minutes of Brandon Belt versus who? Jaime what?
Berea.
Oh, God, baseball.
16 foul balls.
Brandon Belt against Jaime Correa.
Berea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fine.
Should be an extra fine.
Mm-hmm.
You try to do it with a flourish and show off.
Mm-hmm. 16 foul balls, 21 pitches, 12 and a half minutes. Baseball. And finally, Al Pacino turned down the role of Han Solo in Star Wars.
How'd the at-bat end? With a fielder's choice? Do we know what infield?
That's a great question.
Well, how'd the at-bat? Okay, hey, long at-bat. What did he do? He farted out to second base?
It's a duck fart. It's fine. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day. I need to find this out now.
I need to see some sort of audition tape of Al Pacino as Han Solo.
Han Solo. Is it Han or Han? What do you?
Han Solo.
Yeah, okay. No fine for you. You're good.
We're going to get to Stugotz's weekend observations in a second, but can we find out first, please, the at-bat? How did it end? 21 pitches, 2 hours and 45 minutes of foul balls.
Would you blame anyone if they left?
No.
I'm talking about the players.
I wouldn't blame the belts. The belts themselves, the players, if the pitcher, enough of this.
Well, he was 3 for 5 with 2 runs and an RBI. So, I mean, there's a good chance, if my math is correct, that it ended well. I mean.
He lined out to right.
It was the first batter of the game. Oh, no, second batter of the game, top of the first.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh.
How does that go? Princess Leia says, I love you, and he just goes, I know!
I, too, am fascinated by this.
Pacino, for the last 15 years, has been doing nothing but screaming at everybody. He does it as Paterno. He does it as, yelling at Robert De Niro. I don't know what happened there. Just there's a midpoint where you got scent of a woman, hoo-ah, and then just screaming the rest of the way. Time now for Stugotz's weekend observations.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend Observations is brought to you by Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Download the free Vivid Seats app today to get your tickets. Dan, Draft Week is finally here. A week you hate so much, it forced you to take a sabbatical from writing that I'm fairly certain hasn't ended yet. Anyway, Mel, Todd, Riddick, Wingo, is this heaven? No, it's the NFL Draft. Adam Schefter, 5 phone conversations at once, collision course. Yeah. Nearly impossible to eat a Stouffer's French bread pizza without burning the roof of your mouth.
Is that true? Put it up.
Tongue.
Put it on the poll. Yeah. Guillermo, put that on the poll. I think he's dead right about that.
It's impossible.
That it's not possible to do.
Yep, and your tongue, by the way, too. Dan, it's a tradition unlike any other.
Roland Garros.
Chris Paul's team in trouble in the postseason. Colts GM.
In trouble.
They're in trouble. They're big trouble. They got a game 4 tonight in Minnesota. They're not very good. Harden's not right. Capella doesn't look to be right. And I'll tell you, the T-Wolves are a pretty talented team. And they got Wiggins. And they got Karl Anthony Towns, who finally showed up. Congratulations. You finally played in a playoff game, Karl Anthony Towns. And now they got some confidence. And they are rolling, and the Rockets are in trouble. Colts GM Chris Ballard said trading down from number 3 to number 6 in this year's draft proves assurance in Andrew Luck's future, saying we're pretty confident in where he's at. Just so we're all clear, this is where he's at. He hasn't thrown a football since October of 2017.
That is where we're at.
And by the way, Ballard, it's your job to not be pretty confident, but 100% confident of where he's at. Why am I so upset by this? I don't know. Just a stupid thing to say. Wait a second. Just realized, draft week, no one is telling the truth. Chris Ballard might be creating a smokescreen.
Oh.
If so, well done. And Dan hates this week. Holy bleep. It's awesome.
What an idiot.
I mean, it's the best.
I'm so stupid.
There's nothing like it. When did Niko Mirotic become better than Larry Bird? When did Drew Holiday become better than Magic Johnson? I don't know much about anything, but I do know this. Whichever quarterback the Jets take this Thursday will be the wrong one.
The wrong one, of course.
I mean, it is. I already know it. And we're done. You know what the M in Mookie Betts stands for? MVP. There isn't a single image, not the Ice Bowl, not Joe Namath walking off the field, waving a finger, not John Elway soaring through the air, that screams football more than a Sal Palantonio stand-up shot outside of Eagles headquarters.
Eagles facility! Sal Pal will be the Rocky statue there before he's done.
Dan, best guess. What percentage of Sal Pal's life has been spent standing in front of the Eagles training facility, because I'm setting the over-under at 60%.
Every damn last minute of his waking life.
So the over. All right. Also, Eagles. Who designed that building? Princess Peach of the Mushroom Kingdom? Every time I see that thing, I think Super Mario is going to slide down the flagpole at the end of the hit. Heat Sixers. Chippy. The notion a player like Hassan Whiteside can't exist in today's NBA is absurd. Le Batard should be ashamed of himself. And so should Eric Spoelstra. Spo, instead of finding ways to get your best player involved, you thought it'd be a better idea in the playoffs to mess with what already is a fragile mind. Shame on you. It's too bad a guy like Joseph Nurkic can't really exist in today's NBA. Anthony Rizzo wants less games and same pay. Anthony, the Stugotz is strong in you. Ben Simmons, better than Joel Embiid. Trey Wingo, always bathe in angelic white light. Aaron Rodgers.
Is that true? Are they doing that?
Yeah. I mean, I am so excited. This guy, Ed Wingo, is perfect to lead this crew. Mike, is he not? Trey Wingo is going to crush this 3-day draft experience we're having.
Yes, he's great at that.
He's the best at it. He's so polished.
Yep.
Hal, man. Aaron Rodgers, over the next few years, has a better chance of winning a championship as Bucs owner than he does as Packers quarterback. Rockets will be lucky if they win 2 games against the Warriors. Just saw the Spurs score. The Warriors are done. I can't picture Louis Riddick in a T-shirt. That man sleeps in a tailored suit.
Oh, I'm with you on that. Can you picture? Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Can you picture Riddick in a T-shirt? I cannot.
I can't. Working out, even in a tailored suit? Yep, he's working out in a tailored suit. The Pelicans are better without DeMarcus Cousins. Every now and then, I wonder to myself, if Manu Ginobili played baseball, we'd think he was on steroids. Remember when people said the Wizards were better without John Wall? That city, that media, all those women, and the person responsible for Derek Jeter's first bad public moment was Bryant Gumbel.
But it wasn't a bad public moment. It was just him telling Gumbel, you're mentally weak.
An orchestrated one. Baseball has hit a new low. Justin Verlander, are you kidding me? Got mad at an opposing player because in the 5th inning of a 5-0 game, he had the audacity to steal 2 bases. And Verlander, he's not in the spirit of the game. Well, he's trying to win a game. We're halfway through the game, and Verlander is getting mad at a guy for stealing 2 bases after he broke up Verlander's no-hitter. What are we supposed to do? What's the rule there on baseball? If I have a no-hitter going into the 5th and we're up 5-0, stop trying?
All right, so Verlander shouldn't get mad. Only you're allowed to be mad.
Yeah. Pretty much. Anyway. Marlins pitcher, Caleb Smith, 6 innings, 10 strikeouts. You know what the C in Caleb stands for, Dan? Dr. K. Malcolm Brogdon, Big Shot Brogdon. Bartolo Colon can scoot. Kevin Love looks like he's playing with mitts on. Why does Dan hate prediction radio? 22 experts at ESPN predicted the Blazers and Pelicans series. And not one of those 22 experts picked the Pelicans. Celts Bucks hasn't started yet. Want to know why? road team hasn't won a game. In other words, Dan, both teams have held serve. Mike Mayock looks like he puts way too much stock in handshakes. Brandon Belt, 22 pitch at bat, 12 minutes, 45 seconds. Good to see that whole pace of play thing is working. Rob Manfred, you know what your problem is? The Brandon Belt at bat. Todd McShay, sun-kissed. Jay Feely taking a picture, holding a gun next to his daughter and her prom date. Jay, way to have the pulse of what's going on right now in America. Jay Feely, more like Jay really? Red Sox, good. Astros, better. Matt Harvey, some advice. You don't mess with a man named Mickey Callaway. Mozzarella sticks, underrated appetizer. Draft week is the absolute best. Anyone who disagrees can go to hell. So, Dan, when you get down there, make sure you say hi to our Bryles. Dan, those are the weekend observations.
We have a lot of cleaning up to do.
Oh, so much. All right, let's start here because we're largely the elephant. He's the elephant at the zoo, okay? And we're just janitors behind him. It was a 21-pitch at bat, not a 22-pitch at bat on Brandon Belt.
We just discussed that.
Rizzo said,
which is weird because it says 21 in his notes.
It is weird.
Yeah, Rizzo said that he would take less pay in order to play fewer games.
Me personally, I would love it. I think it's too much baseball. Personally, yes, guys are going to take pay cuts, but are we playing this game for the money or we love the game? I know there's both, but I think in the long run, it'll make everything better. I think starting the season later in the year, ending in October and not November, I don't know, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, let me answer. First off, you are playing for money, Anthony Rizzo. And secondly, okay, that's what you say publicly, okay? When it gets chopped down to 100 games, see if Rizzo takes less money.
All right,
go ahead, I dare you.
Okay, you're going to do that.
Guarantee you won't.
All right, you're going to defend that you represented him entirely the opposite of how he wanted to be represented. Yeah. And then when we call you out on it, you say, prove it to me, Rizzo. Prove it to me by taking a pay cut right now that you haven't been asked to take.
And the Anthony Rizzo sound is a week old.
Yeah.
So Stugotz is just mailing it all in? All of it's being mailed in?
Yeah, really? I just saw that story over there.
All right, it's a weekend observation.
But what I did is I represented what Rizzo really wanted to say.
Did you have a leftover weekend observation that got cut last week?
I think that's what happened. I snuck it back in this week. But I represented what Rizzo really wanted to say there. I know Rizzo, okay? I know Rizzo.
Very good. Yes.
They
are from Parkland.
Los Patines. Time for some ads.
Take a pay cut. Believe it when I see it.
Dan Le Batard.
I have a child.
Stugotz.
Farts smell worse when you need to make a poopy.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
That Ginobili game, man. That crud that he threw up. I don't even understand what I'm watching anymore when it comes to a 40-year-old Ginobili in the paint, just splayed and bald and broken in every way. And he slays Durant.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, what? He's bleeping 40. Like, how? How is that possible? Like, what are we talking about? He's got all of San Antonio on his back, and he's taking out these Warrior champions. He has no hair. He's older than my father.
He's 40, man.
I mean, what is happening there? The reason he plays 20 minutes a game, it's because it's the only burst he has left in his life.
Did you hear Steve Kerr's quotes after the game? It's actually kind of cool.
I smiled when he made that corner three right in front of us at the end of the game. It was just so typical Manu, 41 years old and 16 points and, hits the clinching three. He's Manu. That's what he does.
All right, they were teammates? They played together,
Steve Kerr said, this is how I know I'm old. I played with Manu Ginobili.
Okay, of course. Of course. Ginobili, not a lot of people know this, played with Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, and Pop, too.
Right.
What the hell, man?
Chris kind of rolled his eyes, Fat Chris, at the Steve Kerr comment there. What was going on? Because I had the same reaction. It's like easy to say when you're up 3-0, hey, that's just Manu. He's great, okay? 2-2, I don't think we're getting the same reaction.
Plus, I want to see the footage. He didn't really smile.
I don't know how 3-0 would instead be 2-2. That seems to be a match.
That's impossible. But let's just say it's 2-1 either way, okay? Closer series is what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. You've got Houston being done, right? You've got Houston in trouble.
Yes.
Is Golden State in trouble?
No.
Because,
series is over.
No, I mean in general. I mean, Steph Curry, nobody knows when he's coming back. And, Durant's not going to be enough against the Rockets. Not against the healthy Rockets. Not just Durant. Like, they kind of need Steph. The numbers are dramatically different when Steph is out there.
Well, if you recall, Stugotz already said the Rockets are in trouble.
Yeah.
So
Rockets are trouble.
May not get there.
Correct.
But if
so
they
I don't
get
like the
there,
Pelicans' chances, I got to be honest.
Yeah, they're playing really well.
They really are. I mean, it's incredible what they're doing.
What they did to Portland was a total dismantling that no one at the network saw coming. Can we name them all? Mike, please get them. I'd like to count them down. The panel of experts that picked. I'd like to just do this one after another with Sports List Radio. Just the panel of experts by name at ESPN. We had Pelicans. No, people really love the parade of gas bags around here when we play all the analysis at this network and on this show where we get it all wrong.
All right, I have some of them, Mike. You'll have to pick me up here, okay?
All right, let's see if we can get the list together, and we'll do this in real time. In the interim, as we're getting everything together.
I have the full list.
I have the list now.
All right.
Okay. All right, let's do this then. Number 22, ESPN expert that got it wrong on Pelicans Trailblazers.
Kevin Arnovitz.
What did he have? What did he have?
He had the Blazers in 5.
All right, I think just do it that way, Mike. Just do it. Name and then what he had, okay? Or she had. Number 21.
Ian Begley, Blazers in 6.
Next one is great.
Amin El Hassan, Blazers in 6. Jeremias Engelman, Blazers in 5. Chris Forsberg, Blazers in 7. Probably the best prediction so far.
Nice job.
Yeah, way to go, Forsberg.
Nick Friedel, Blazers in 6. Andrew Hahn, Blazers in 5.
Yes.
Chris Haynes, Blazers in 6. Chris Herring, Blazers in 7. Another good prediction. Zach Lowe, Blazers in 6.
Oh.
Tim McMahon, Blazers in 7. Bobby Marks, Blazers in 7.
Oh, boy.
Dave McMenamin, Blazers in 6. Kevin Pelton, Blazers in 7. George Sedano, no!
George!
Blazers in 7. Ramona Shelburne, Blazers in 7. Andre Snellings, Blazers in 7. Mark Spears, Blazers in 7. Jesse Washington, Blazers in 6. Michael Wright, Blazers in 7. Royce Young, Blazers in 6. And Young Masuk, Blazers in 6.
Sorry,
Don Le Batard.
I can't believe Mike Ryan fell asleep during. That is an affront to art. It's just blasphemy.
Who goes to Vegas for shows, honestly?
Really?
Stugotz.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas for shows?
Yes, you go to Vegas for shows.
No, I go to Vegas to gamble to get away from my wife.
Okay, that too.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Nate Schmidt is going to join us in just a second here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. The Vegas hockey team is our team. It's our adopted team. They're America's team, really.
They need to be America's team. We need to figure out a way to make this Vegas hockey team America's team. We're going to see if Nate Schmidt, their star, their colorful star.
Yes.
Is he a star, Mike? Is he a star?
I don't think he's the star.
Regardless, he's their colorful guy. So
he's just colorful?
Colorful player.
Okay.
All right, no, and forgive our ignorance here. This is no affront to Nate Schmidt. We just don't know anything about hockey.
Carlson had an amazing season for them.
Okay, regardless. We have some people around here who know something about hockey, but they're very few. It's the surfer guy. It's the death metal hockey guy. It's sometimes Roy, though he's inconsistent.
It's weird, right?
It is. He doesn't have any confidence about his hockey knowledge.
More of a Jonathan Marshall show guy myself, dude.
So we're going to have Nate Schmidt here in a second to sell you on the idea that you should be celebrating this team.
Here's your SportsCenter update. Bel Air Cantina, a Mexican restaurant in Milwaukee, has issued a public apology for not accommodating the Greek Freak in time. Hear about that? That's a terrible job. First off, it's pretty hard to be the Greek Freak, walk into your restaurant and people not notice. He waited for 10 minutes, never got a table, just turned around and left. And now they're apologizing. And if I'm the Greek Freak, I am never going back to that place again. Ever. Unless they give me free.
That's a story worth talking about. Guillermo, put it on the poll. Should the Greek Freak ever wait 10 minutes for a table in Milwaukee?
No. Jay Feely has apologized after posting a picture of him carrying a gun next to his daughter and her prom date. It's pretty stupid. And finally, rest in peace to the world's oldest person. A Japanese woman born in the final year of the 19th century and believed to have been the world's oldest person died on Saturday. She was 117 years old. Looking great at your special event or wedding has never been easier than with thebblacktux.com. They've got tons of new suits and tuxedos that'll make you stand out for the right reasons. To score $20 off your purchase, simple. Visit thebblacktux.com/Dan. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to the Sports Center on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
If I may here on Jay Feely, and I don't know how treacherous this footing is that I'm about to embark on here, but I need to preface this by saying I am in no way pro-guns. I don't know anything about guns. I've never held a gun. I don't want guns in my life around anybody that I care about. All of it is totally foreign to me. And I understand what's going on in this country with guns. I understand what the debate is, and I understand that kids are dying, and people should be emotional about the idea that kids in school are dying. Once you get, though, to the place in this country where the guns are allowed, the jokes about the guns are going to be nearby. And so the idea that Jay Feely would be a trending topic yesterday because and look, he's making a joke, and it's a dumb joke, and everybody could be against the joke.
But Dan, I'm a dad with daughters, and I've made the joke. I just haven't used the actual prop.
I understand. Look,
joke.
But if he's saying he's unloaded, it's unloaded and it's licensed and it's legal. We're talking about American freedoms here, and that's coming from someone who doesn't care an iota about guns.
I totally understand. And listen, we've known Jay Feely. I've known Jay Feely for a while. I text Jay Feely after he missed field goals for the Jets in an AFC Championship game to let him know how lousy he was in that game. I like Jay a lot, but Dan, yesterday, that is poor judgment. I'm sorry.
Get it. You understand
do it with high school kids.
I get it. You understand what I'm saying, though. You understand what I'm saying. Anyway, this is an awkward transition into Nate Schmidt. And this is the reason we're doing this. And I'm sorry for keeping you on hold here, Nate, as we discuss gun control for some reason. So give me a second here. But Wayne Newton was on, and he came on our show, and he doesn't know anything about hockey, and it became clear very, very fast. We love Wayne Newton, and we will take whatever Wayne Newton is selling on the subject of Vegas. But we need a better spokesman for your team, a team that has swept the LA Kings in the first round, is the best thing in sports going right now, is the underdog, is the upset, is a historic story. So here's how Wayne Newton, king of all infomercial Vegas things, came on and explained what's happening in Vegas right now and what's happening with this team.
There have been a group of guys that evidently somewhere along the way have been turned down by other teams, and Bill Foley put them all together, and all of a sudden they caught fire, and the talent is 1,000% behind them. And of course, I think they represent the epitome of what Las Vegas is, and that is, if you can dream it, you can do it.
Okay, and it's just a bunch of gibberish. And then when pressed on it, because we interrogated him a little bit on the subject of, give us some hockey knowledge here. Mike, you asked him a very specific question, did you not?
Yeah, I asked him how Carlson's managed to put the season together.
Okay, yeah, so there you go. And Wayne Newton's response to that was?
I don't have the slightest idea.
Okay, so he's a fraud, he's counterfeit, and now this guy is coming in here to sell us on hockey. Nate Schmidt, are you ready? I'm going to give you 5 minutes on the national floor here to explain to this country why it needs to get behind your hockey team because of how weird a story this is.
Let's be clear. You don't have to use all 5 minutes. We'll help you out if you kind of, start stumbling around.
We're here for you. We're underneath here as a safety net. But Nate Schmidt of the Vegas, they're the Golden Knights. We're just learning this together. No, that's not funny done that way.
Was that a question?
Never mind. All right.
Be on board. Be on board.
Talk, dude.
Okay, all right, 5 minutes. Nate Schmidt, the floor is yours.
You know what? I got to tell you, here's the way I would start this off. Everybody loves the Cinderella story, but here's the difference of what makes us something that's pretty special compared to, any other franchise. We came here just kind of like Wayne said, all a group of golden misfits, if you look at it. We were just kind of thrown together, and, a lot of expectations weren't there. But what really makes us cool is that anyone can jump onto this. We don't really have a bandwagon. I mean, it's cool in the first year, no matter what you do.
But see, we need to get on this bandwagon with him. His voice sounds like Vegas.
The bandwagon, there isn't no. It's just a band. It's just a fan of Las Vegas Golden Knights. It's only year one, right? bandwagon would be hopping onto the Pittsburgh Penguins after they won the last 2 Stanley Cups and then decided you wanted to be a part of their team. But I'll tell you this, it's just given the city and everything that we've been through since October 1 and just kind of embedded ourselves into the city, and you just kind of get that feeling, and everyone's got a story, right? And that's what makes us so special, that everyone came from somewhere where they weren't wanted at the same time. And then Las Vegas, I mean, you come here, you look at our games, and they are absolute pandemonium at home. I mean, it's almost, and people say, I heard you say before, people come to Vegas, see the show, it's a show in itself. I mean, you got Cirque du Soleil in between periods, you got people coming in here, you got Cirque du Soleil in between periods, you got Blue Man Group playing playing in between
periods during the intermission.
During periods,
yeah.
Wow.
During the intermission.
Nate, just keep going. 4 minutes to go, buddy. Keep going.
I mean, you have such an experience that's nothing like that's unrivaled anywhere else in sports. It's actually, we had a joke in the locker room. It's almost hard to play on the road because of how incredible our atmosphere is at home.
Do you have Blue Man Group?
Unlike anything else.
Do you have Blue Man Group?
Blue Man Group is in there. I mean, they're performing. Anybody that
Celine?
You perform in this town.
Celine?
Anyone that is from this town, you're going to be out there. You got to think anything's possible here.
Carrot Top.
Carrot Top, huge Vegas Golden Knights guy.
Amazing Jonathan.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, there's really just it's pretty incredible what we built here and what we're trying to build here.
Are there
slot machines, blackjack tables
in the arena?
Like, I mean, there's anything you can gamble at the airport.
What? Wait a minute! No, I know at the airport, but at the arena.
Airport, I've done that. But
can we gamble at the arena?
Or are there rules against that?
Might have to get.
Are there tigers?
Are there tigers? That's a good question.
Yeah, I need to know if there are tigers there. If I'm going to jump
Nate,
on this
are there tigers jumping?
They have the tigers locked up in the random bathrooms as you walk through it.
Oh, that's
awesome! Giant fish tanks.
What about the mascot? What kind of mascot do you have? Am I going to like this mascot?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yellow and gold. That's my favorite color. So Chance, our Gila monster, we actually have 2 kind of mascots. We have the Golden Knight, and then we have Chance, the Gila monster. They both play off each other really well. You should see it before the games. When they come out there, you sit in their seats, and they usually bring, some type of, King of Arthur. He's got to pull the sword right out of the rock.
Excalibur stuff?
That sounds so cool. Is he on a horse, or is that dangerous on ice?
Yeah, that would be bad. You can't have
just skates.
Okay.
The horse is on skates?
Well, you should get the horse on skates, too.
The horse
on
skates?
I mean, we usually have the other teams, we have their fake mascot, and then we have like a big battle royale before the guys come on the ice.
Oh, wow. Are there buffets for $4?
Ooh.
$4 buffets. $4 buffets.
Will anyone joust?
Yeah.
No!
You promise?
I always say yes.
All right, now
in this town, anything is possible.
All right, cool. Now answer this question wisely. Is Chris Angel going to be there?
Ooh, he has been.
Oh, that's that actually, I'm not a big fan.
But did he say he has been, or he's a has been?
No, he has been there. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, like, Little John comes down and hangs out in the locker room after the game. The boys are flying. I'm telling you.
Wait a minute. What? Who hangs out in the locker room? Who?
Little John.
Oh,
Imagine Dragons. Come on.
Is Paulie D there?
What?
Ooh.
Lil Jon?
Yeah.
Wait, have a battle. Chris, have a battle between you and Nate Schmidt. Let's see what we've got here. Let's see a rap battle.
Okay.
What?
Oh, he's better than you. Whoa. He got you.
This guy's cool, dude.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
Yeah.
Your voice sounds like you just got off the red eye.
Yeah.
It's the greatest. It is, right? The greatest home court advantage in all sports, right?
Oh, it has to be.
Home ice.
I mean,
home ice, sorry.
You got it. Yeah. I was going to say the home ice. Yeah, it definitely helps. I mean, the biggest thing is that how hard is it for you to come to Vegas, especially as, visiting guy. You're like, where you see the lights when you come into town and you get a little antsy in your pantsy, you want to play some cards and go to a show and, the dinners or,
Nate, is your team actively sending anything from the brothels to the opposing team's hotel?
Please say yes.
I cannot confirm or deny.
thought it was pronounced Gila Monster. I'm actually here to say Gila.
All right, Nate. All right, Nate. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We're friends, man. This is
all right,
great.
we got to keep
Thanks,
selling.
Eddie.
We got to keep selling this team.
I'll be on anytime.
All right, we'll
All right,
talk to you
Eddie.
tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Good.
You can listen to the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz 10 to 1 Eastern on ESPN Radio, and you can watch on ESPN News.